What's up, guys? Michael here from Just Another Car Enthusiast, and today we're going to be doing the 5 things I hate about my 2013 Ford Focus ST. Chances are, if you clicked on this video, you are in the process or looking to buy a first generation Focus ST, and you're wondering, what are some of the things I'm going to expect to hate about it? Well, I'm going to help you kind of break that down today. Now, before we get started into the list of the 5 things I hate, I'd like to go ahead and say that this is reviewed as my car is a 2013 with 100,000 miles, so that if you're wondering about reliability, that should tell you right there that they are reliable. But this is also the ST3 package, which has the Recaro racing seats, the sunroof, the Sony sound system with the subwoofer, and I think that's about all the ST3 comes with. So if you're looking at one of the lower bracket cars, then this might not be as helpful for you, but that's just one of that's just so that you guys know what I'm working with here. So to get into the list, the first thing that I'm going to tell you guys I hate about this car is the gas mileage. Now, this car has the 2-liter turbo, the EcoBoost engine, same ones they put in the Toros, a few of the Toroses, the Fusion, the Ford Edge, and it is a good engine. I like the engine itself, but the fuel economy for this car in particular is not the best. I'm averaging about 22.5, and I max out at 24.5 miles to the gallon, and that is highway and city driving. So, you know, it is kind of a mixture, but I feel like it could be better. I know a lot of the times when you have a turbo 4-cylinder cars, they are a lot better gas mileage cars. Now, this is a sports car, so it's not going to be perfect, I guess you could say, as far as the gas mileage and stuff like that. You're not going to get as much as the other cars. It doesn't bother me as bad, but it could be better, you know what I mean? So don't get this car because you want something that's outrageously, you know, good on fuel. It's not the best. You can get 6 cylinders that are about as good. Now, moving on to the fourth thing that I hate about this car, and I'm sure you guys have seen this before on just about any other video, the hood gap that is on the first generation Ford Focus STs. And as you can see here, it's about an inch gap that is on the hood. It's just not, there's nothing you can do to adjust it either. It's just there. And there's nothing with the little hood risers. There's nothing you can do about it besides, I think, replacing it. And so that's kind of an irritation to me. Now, it doesn't bother me as bad. It doesn't look that bad, especially when it's coming at you. It looks more like a ram air than anything, even though it's not. It's just a defect from the factory or whatever. But that is something that some might find irritating. Moving on to the third thing. Now, this is something that I believe is because of the Recaro racing seats. Before I tell you guys what this is, the Recaros are the best racing seats out there. They are so comfortable. I wouldn't buy this car if they don't have Recaros. They are just... I haven't sat in a Focus that doesn't, but I sat in a Fiesta ST that doesn't. And the seats were comfortable, but Jesus Christ, these seats are like just great. I've taken them on 3 or 4 hour long car rides and have not had a single back problem. And that is very important whenever you're wanting a daily driver that's comfortable. So the third thing that I hate about this is whenever I get into the car, my knee hits the headlight control, turning them on. It's like every single time it happens. And I'm not a tall guy. I'm only 5'7", 5'8", so I'm not tall. So I can only imagine if, you know, the taller guys out there having serious problems with that. And as you can see here, when I get in, it just rolls it to the side, and I don't know why it does that. But I think it's because of the lip on the Recaros. I'm not sure. But that is a little irritation. Not anything too serious, but that is something that gets on my nerves personally. Now, the next thing that I don't like about this car, and I know every single person that's had this car has the same exact gripe, it's the Sony sound system. Now, if you pay for the ST3 package, you're going to get, I think it's a 8-inch touchscreen with a 8-inch subwoofer in the back, as well as a Sony surround sound system, I think it's called, or whatever. And for what the money would, if you were to buy this car new, the money that you'd have to pay extra to have that included is ridiculous, and it's not that great. Now, it is good. It's not. It's about on par with any other, stock sound system. The subwoofer has a little bit of thump to it, but it's still, as a matter of fact, I'm going to replace the subwoofer in the back with one of my own and put an amplifier to it because it just isn't that good. But the touchscreen has the original first generation My 4 Touch, and it's not perfect, but it gives you navigation, and you can change your climate controls on the touchscreen, which is pretty cool. But the newer My 4 Touch is way better than the old generation My 4 Touch. So if you're looking at first generation Focus and you go on it with the ST3 package, then that is going to be something that you have. Now, when I bought this car, it was very much used, and so I didn't have to pay any extra money to get all this stuff. So that's really why I didn't really care. I got this car for a ridiculously great price because of the mileage it had. And it had the Recaro racing seats, and the interior is pretty much immaculate, which you guys will see whenever I do my review of this car. But if you're buying it with the Sony sound system, don't expect to be blown away, because you're not going to be blown away. If you're not a crazy bass head, then it might not be so bad for you. But when you're paying for when you're paying for that sound system, I wouldn't pay. It's like $1,000 to upgrade it. Now, talk about ST3 upgrades. If you are going to get this car, get it with the Recaros. Like I said before, there's no other way to do it. These seats are so comfortable. I will get into more of that whenever I do my 5 things I love video. Now, the last thing I hate about this car, but before I address that, I will say this. If you're buying a car because you want a good daily driver, this is the car for you. It's comfortable, it's fun to drive, they only come in 6-speed manuals, and they make 250 horsepower, 270 pound-feet of torque. It's so easy to do a burnout in this car, it's not even funny. But if you have the money and you want to get a sports car, for one, I don't know why you're not buying a GT in the first place, but the one thing I hate about this car is that it's not an RS. It's not an RS. That's the one thing that I'm left. At the end of the day, I'm very pleased with this car. There was no other car for the price that I would have preferred over this car. But at the end of the day, it's not an RS. I want all-wheel drive. I want a little bit bigger engine with a little bit more horsepower. Now, you can achieve RS horsepower from this engine fairly easy. You don't even have to tear into it. You can do a tune, exhaust, intake, blow-off valve, intake spacers, ram air kits, all these little things that would get you about 300 to 320 horsepower, which is close enough, and that is plenty for this engine. But it's not an RS. That's the one thing that I hate about it. For my situation, I couldn't afford an RS, so I didn't get one. That's why I got this car. This car was about $25,000 less than the RS. So that tells you right there, yeah, that's a big gap. And before I got the RS, I would have gotten a GT. As a matter of fact, when I got this car, as I explained in the other video, I was there to look at a 2008 GT with a 3-valve engine, 5-speed manual. And I drove this car, and I fell in love with it. I didn't even have to drive the Mustang. I was like, yeah, I have a Mustang. I don't really need another one. So that's why I picked this car. And I really, really enjoy it. I thoroughly do. It's fun. I've taken it on, like I said, long road trips. Daily drive it I drive it every single day around town. It's just a blast. And reliability, it has 105,400 miles as of right this second. And when I got it, it only had 100,000. And that is a lot for 2013. It was driven on the highway a lot, but it hasn't had a single problem. Other than normal maintenance, I looked at the Carfax whenever I bought the car, before I bought it, and not a single problem arose in this car. Not a single one of them. And that, to me, screams reliability, because it's got a lot of miles on it. And so I felt confident paying the money I could have paid for a lower mileage car that's not as good. I felt comfortable buying this car. And I really think that if you guys are in the market to buy this car, it won't disappoint you. If you got the money, though, go for the RS. That's just my advice. I haven't driven the RS, but I can only imagine if this car with all-wheel drive, even with a bigger engine, would be so much fun. So I hope you did enjoy this video. For those of you that are new to the channel, please subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos with this ST, such as light mods, and I'm going to be doing a review on it, an in-depth review, and a 5 things I love video. So definitely be looking forward to that. But another thing I wanted to mention to you guys about the ones of you that have been subscribed to me. If you notice a different name on the channel, that's okay. I changed it to Just Another Car Enthusiast instead of Street Racing because, well, I don't want to be known as Street Racing. That's kind of not that great of a reputation to have, especially because I'm going to eventually be getting stickers and stuff like that to put on my car. And the last thing I want to do is drive past a cop and then look over at this red sports car that has a Street Racing on the window. That just isn't going to be, that's not going to go over very well. But anyway, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Stick around for some more videos to come, and I hope you all have a wonderful and safe day. I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.